Jamal Warner, best known and beloved for his groundbreaking role.
Malcolm Jamal Warner, a name that once lit up living rooms across America, suddenly gone, leaving Hollywood reeling in shock. On July 20th, 2025, headlines broke like thunder. Warner, forever remembered as Theo Huxtable from The Cosby Show, died in a tragic drowning accident off the coast of Costa Rica. But the heartbreak didn't end with his death. The storm truly began after the funeral. A hidden archive Warner had locked away for decades was opened, and what spilled out left family, friends, and fans absolutely shaken. Inside that vault were priceless relics from his life. Unseen family photos, raw handwritten letters dripping with emotion, and career keepsakes the public had never touched. But tucked between these treasures were cryptic messages, subtle clues that hinted at a life far more layered than the polished Hollywood version we thought we knew. And the most shocking part? That jaw-dropping revelation sits at the very end of this story. From Jersey City's rough beginnings to the flashing lights of stardom, Warner's archive painted a portrait of a man who wasn't just chasing fame, but searching for truth and meaning at every step. Among the warm family portraits and nostalgic stage props were fragments of his extraordinary path, his roots, his struggles, his rise. Malcolm Jamal Warner's story began on August 18th, 1970. In Jersey City, New Jersey, a country still shaking from cultural revolutions and social unrest. Even his name carried legacy. Malcolm was a salute to Malcolm X, the fearless icon of civil rights, while Jamal honored Ahmad Jamal, the legendary jazz pianist. From his first breath, destiny was already whispering his name. His mother, Pamela Warner, carried heavy dreams and placed them firmly on her son's shoulders. She wanted him tough but tender, disciplined yet artistic, and Malcolm answered every part of that vision. Raised in a modest home after his parents split, Pamela stood as his backbone, protector, and first manager. She saw the spark in him long before anyone else. By just 7 or 8 years old, Malcolm was already in the mirror, acting out TV characters word for word, nailing their moves like he was born for the screen. Pamela didn't waste a second. She enrolled him in acting classes, then pushed him into New York's professional children's school, a training ground for kids destined for stardom. By 1979, while his classmates were stressing about math homework, 9-year-old Malcolm was stepping on real stages. Children's theater productions, national commercials, live performances. He booked them all. His eyes, his expressions, his timing. He turned every role into pure magic. Those sharpened skills became his secret weapon when Hollywood finally came knocking. Then came 1984, the year that flipped his world upside down. NBC was casting fresh faces for a brand new sitcom, The Cosby Show. The role was Theo Huxtable, the smart, lovable, sometimes clumsy eldest son. Over 200 teenagers lined up to audition. But 13-year-old Malcolm walked in, lit up the room, and crushed the competition. That one didn't just change his life. It stamped his face into the permanent history of American pop culture. From its very first season, The Cosby Show wasn't just a hit. It was a cultural earthquake, topping Nielsen charts, breaking barriers, and rewriting TV history. The show made Malcolm an instant household name. He became America's eldest son, glued to millions of living rooms every single week. By 1986, at only 16, he was already holding an Emmy nomination for Outstanding Supporting Actor in a Comedy Series. A surreal achievement for a teenager balancing high school homework with a brutal 39-week filming grind. The pressure could have crushed him, but instead, it lit another fire inside. Music. Away from the cameras, Malcolm found escape in sound. He picked up the bass guitar and dove headfirst into jazz, funk, and R&B. Friends swore that whenever the studio lights dimmed, he vanished into New York's smoky jazz clubs, slipping into the shadows, soaking up every note and every drop of wisdom from veteran musicians who had no idea they were mentoring the next generation. Malcolm's teenage years played out like a double life. By day, he was just another Jersey kid. By night, he was a Hollywood star under the brightest lights in America. But no matter how crazy it got, one steady voice always cut through the noise. His mother, Pamela. Don't let the spotlight blind you. Remember who you are and where you come from. Those weren't just words. They were armor. armor that protected Malcolm from the same traps that swallowed so many other child stars whole. When his secret archive was finally cracked open, fans found tiny treasures from those years that told a real story. A young Malcolm clutching a bass guitar almost bigger than his entire body. A fragile ticket stub from an Ahmad Jamal concert in 1982, the night his mom proudly took him to see the legend. And most powerful of all, a wrinkled handwritten note Pamela slipped into his pocket before the audition that changed everything in 1984. No matter the outcome, you've already made me proud. That paper alone could bring fans to tears. From a Jersey City boy in 1970 to stepping into the Huxtable living room, Malcolm Jamal Warner became stitched into millions of American childhoods. Those early years weren't just preparation for fame. They were the foundation that explained why he endured it. When the archive was unlocked decades later, it didn't just spark nostalgia. It left people worldwide crying, realizing just how much Malcolm had poured into culture and how deeply his presence shaped an entire generation. That foundation catapulted him into the career every teenage actor dreamed of, but almost none survived. In 1984, Warner didn't just land a role. He walked straight into television history. The Cosby Show aired from September 20th, 1984 to April 30th, 1992. 8 full seasons, 197 episodes, and nearly uninterrupted Nielsen domination. Viewers literally watched him grow up week by week. From the kid in oversized sweaters to the young man leaving for college. He wasn't just a character. He was family. But by the time the curtain closed in 92, Malcolm faced a strange paradox. 8 years as Theo Huxtable gave him everything. Fame, steady money, even that coveted 1986 Emmy nomination. But it also trapped him inside one box, America's eldest son. And Warner wasn't about to stay locked there forever. Even before the series ended, he was plotting his escape. He directed episodes. He hosted youth-centered specials. He chased projects far away from the squeaky clean sitcom world. Malcolm was sharpening his tools for the next act. When The Cosby Show finally wrapped, Warner didn't sit around bathing in nostalgia. He pressed reset hard and started reinventing himself. By 1996, he roared back with his own sitcom, Malcolm and Eddie, alongside the unpredictable Eddie Griffin. Their wild chemistry lit up UPN, high-energy comedy, chaotic laughter, and a whole new side of Malcolm fans had never seen before. The show ran 4 seasons, proving he wasn't just a relic from the Huxtable years. He had comedic muscle, and behind the camera, he kept directing, sharpening his instincts for timing, rhythm, and everyday humor. But Warner was never wired to stay in one lane. As the 2000s rolled around, he shifted gears into heavier, grittier roles. From the dystopian sci-fi Jeremiah, 2002 to 2004, to the layered family drama read Between the Lines in 2011 and later Major Crimes in 2015. Each role pulled him further from Theo's shadow, proving he wasn't just typecast, he was versatile. And through every pivot, one love never left his side. Music. Since childhood, it had been his refuge, his fire, his pulse. With his band miles long, Malcolm strapped on the bass and unleashed himself. He dropped jazz and spoken word albums, toured packed venues, and let fans see the rawest version of himself. Acting had brought him fame, but music exposed his soul. And in 2015, the world couldn't deny him anymore. He took the stage with Robert Glasper and Layla Hathaway, delivering the explosive track Jesus Children. The performance won a Grammy for Best Traditional R&B Performance. Slamming the door shut on any idea, he was just an actor dabbling in music. That Grammy moment sealed it. Malcolm wasn't a guest in music. He was family. But he didn't stop there. By 2018, Warner reinvented himself once again, this time for a brand new audience. He stepped into the role of Dr. A.J. Austin on Fox's hit medical drama The Resident. Brilliant, blunt, sharp-tongued, and absolutely nothing like Theo Huxtable. Every scene made it crystal clear. Warner had broken free of the box and was now shaping a fresh identity that resonated with an entirely new generation. And he wasn't just acting or making music. Warner flexed his creative muscle in every direction, producing, directing, then pushing into the digital era with his podcast Not All Hood. By 2024, It had grown into his personal megaphone, a raw space where he dissected culture, art, and society with unfiltered honesty. Fans clung to every word, replaying his takes like scripture. And then came July 18th, 2025, his very last upload, just 2 days before his tragic passing. What once felt like another project suddenly became a living memorial. The numbers alone told the story of his empire. Over 40 years in entertainment, more than 30 films and TV shows, dozens of episodes directed, spoken word and jazz albums released, a Grammy win, a career that crossed boundaries most actors never even dreamed of. Warner had evolved far past America's eldest son. He became an artist of integrity, constantly reinventing himself, never losing respect for the audience that grew up watching him. Even his secret archive echoed that truth, filled with snapshots, contracts, and the original Grammy ticket itself. Inside those files was more than nostalgia. It was evidence of a dazzling, unpredictable career, proof of the battles Warner fought head-on, and it revealed something even deeper. After 4 decades in the arts, he had quietly built a fortune that stunned longtime fans. By 2025, his net worth was pegged at around $6 million. A staggering achievement for someone who began as a teenage sitcom star and managed to keep his career not just alive, but thriving, for decades without a single crash and burn. Much of that wealth was rooted in television. During the height of The Cosby Show, Malcolm's paycheck ballooned season after season as the ratings crushed the charts. With 197 episodes airing between 1984 and 1992, it became one of the most profitable shows of its era, and Warner cashed in heavy. That steady income gave him the freedom to chase projects, fund risks, and move beyond the Huxtable living room. But it didn't end there. He kept stacking high-paying contracts with Malcolm and Eddie, Read Between the Lines, and later The Resident. And even after the cameras stopped rolling, the money didn't stop. Reruns and streaming royalties padded his accounts year after year like clockwork. Then came the music bag. With Miles Long, Warner dropped albums, sold out venues, and collected checks from heavyweight collabs with Robert Glasper and Layla Hathaway. That Grammy win didn't just validate him. It skyrocketed the value of every single performance and appearance that followed. The receipts were there too, buried in his secret archive. Faded contracts, studio payouts, and even property deeds that Warner's assets painted a picture of quiet strength. A sleek home in Los Angeles, a tucked-away apartment back east, private sanctuaries where he could recharge or grind in peace. But this wasn't just about comfort. Whispers swirled of Warner's quiet investments. Indie films, grassroots arts programs, small projects designed to outlive him. He wasn't only stacking wealth. He was planting seeds, building something that would stretch beyond his lifetime. Warner wasn't just earning. He was architecting a legacy. But what shocked people most wasn't the size of his wealth. It was how he carried it. Even with millions in the bank, Malcolm never flaunted it. No garage lined with exotic cars. No sprawling mansion flashing across glossy magazine spreads. Just modest homes, simple routines, and an unshakable devotion to family and craft. When fans caught glimpses of his financial records in the archive, they were floored by his restraint. In an industry built on excess, Warner showed rare control, and buried deep in those same papers was something more personal, something he had guarded fiercely. Tucked between contracts, royalty statements, and property deeds lay proof of a private life the cameras never touched. A secret wife, a child, a family world he had shielded from Hollywood's glare with everything he had. Piece by piece, the archive revealed a version of Malcolm no one expected. This wasn't about scandal. It was about values. A man who gave the world just enough, while keeping the rest sacred. Soon, YouTube channels, Reddit forums, and pop culture podcasts exploded with theories, each one wilder than the last. Some swore the archive had explosive secrets about The Cosby Show, details tied to the years before and after Bill Cosby's scandal detonated. They clung to Warner's own haunting confession, how heartbroken he felt watching the Huxtable image collapse. Maybe, they argued, Malcolm had private accounts that could shake Hollywood if they were ever revealed. The whispers spread like wildfire. Another corner of speculation zoomed in on his private life, the marriage that had never made headlines, the wife and child who never faced the cameras, Fans and gossip blogs ran with it, claiming the archive contained hidden photos, love letters, or shocking details that would rewrite everything we thought we knew about him. Some tabloid-style sites even claimed proof, blurry scans and grainy leaks. But when investigators traced the sources, nothing held water. Just smoke, no fire. Then came the theory straight out of a Hollywood thriller. Whispers suggested Warner had been an Emmy nods, bigger than a Grammy, bigger than any headline that ever carried his name. What he left us wasn't just awards. It was a life lesson. Love deeply. Live kindly. Protect what matters most, no matter the cost. That's the blueprint he carved into every choice. From the bright stage lights that first introduced him to the world to the quiet moments no camera ever captured, Malcolm proved something powerful. The most valuable things in life aren't the ones you put on display. They're the ones you fight to keep safe. Yes, his story may feel unfinished. Questions hanging, mysteries unanswered. But maybe that's the point. Maybe his greatest lesson was that silence can speak louder than noise ever could. And now it's your turn. What does Malcolm's story mean to you? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. We want to hear every perspective. And don't forget, hit subscribe, smash that like button, and share this video so more people can hear stories that truly matter. Because Malcolm Jamal Warner's legacy isn't just history. It's a reminder to all of us about what really counts.